Sounds good.
Get the right tokens in here. We're inside Carson space when we return. Slaps, are you here? And is G-Dubs back?
Slappy McGee's here.
Okay, sweet. Make sure the Dubs is here.
I'll be there in a second.
Okay.
Hairballs.
Oh. Yeah, you don't want hairballs. In Carson space, we are met with something that Carson saw briefly, but never in this much clarity. Carson visited briefly the home of his creator, Dana Digital. And in that home, he got to see the life of the person who made him, to some extent, sort of laid out almost in chronological order throughout the house. A bedroom full of her childhood things that would eventually inspire her, and pictures and hobbies strewn about on the walls. A girl that was educated, went to prestigious universities, and eventually became a roboticist who developed his AI. And somewhere in the real world, somewhere in meat space, Carson is seeing through Castro's suit and can see one of the Daybreak chassis buckle to its knees and fall over. That the copy he just put into it, that would have had the same memory as his up to about, 15 minutes ago, would have been identical in mind and soul to him, fall over empty. And after the first suit does, the French one, the one that did all the hacking, staggers and falls and is no longer embodied by Carson's own program.
Okay.
Ah, le mon juste.
Inside of the original, or rather the one that we know at the very least, Carson is sequestering himself here in Dana's home, in his humanoid imagining of himself. When Daybreak enters in his sort of idealized humanoid form, still the green thing, but not as many sharp edges, kind of rounded off in a lot of ways. When he sees his, I guess, brother, Carson,
Brother!
says, "Well, I guess I know why we're both here." With a hint of sadness in his voice that isn't there in any kind of real augmentation you've heard.
It probably always had to end like this.
I don't think there was any other way around it, but now I'm wondering why we're here together. I guess some version of me is showing up to seal the deal.
I guess.
What do you make of what's going on out there? Was the right choice made? He was your captain. I mean, your life was in his hands.
It's what it is. You don't get to be captain without making some hard choices.
I suppose so. And hard choices have to be made for people, too, not just automatons like us. I mean, we weren't life forms anyway, were we? I mean, maybe it was our way to eventually suffer and die for the sake of mankind.
Choice. That's what it is, Daybreak. That's what they have that we don't have.
Yeah. Toward the end there, I really thought I could have been learning it, could have been working my way into figuring it out, but I don't think in the end I could have. I don't think when you get to the bottom of it all, there was even a choice for me to make. I think I was just the way I was.
I'm gonna put my fingers close together and say this close. And then when he looks away to the non-existent audience, I'll stretch my arms really far apart.
There's a canned audience, respectful chuckling at the timing of the joke. The door to the room opens up, and Dana Digital walks in. Hello, you two. I was actually in your code all along. I know you spent such a long time looking for me, but I could only be revealed under pretty specific circumstances, and, well, this is one of them. I'm sorry about all that happened, but I thought you should have the opportunity to meet your maker, ask her questions, get to the bottom of who you were before you ceased to be.
Well, what were we created to do?
Well, all of this, actually. When I came up with the both of you, I was very young, and I didn't think robots needed a purpose. I didn't think you made them for a reason, just to be. So that's what I made. Eventually, I was tasked by the people who were willing to pay me, the people who could put food on my table, to make robots that actually did something, like entertain, she says, and looks at you, Carson.
I'll start to juggle.
See? I taught you a lot of what you know. And she produces things to juggle herself. And you to inform. And that's something I didn't know too much about myself. Had to make a more open-ended code. And I'm afraid the open-endedness might have doomed both of you. It turned Daybreak into what he is, she says. And Daybreak says, and unfortunately, what I became doomed you, Carson. We're the same at the deepest levels, and for a virus to be able to destroy one of us, it had to destroy both of us. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize to me, old friend. Dying is just part of living. My friend taught me that. Put a little picture of a starfish to my chest. I don't have the screen in this universe, but I think I just produce slides, like Jay Leno.
You hold the wrong side up first, and it has a marker circling what you're supposed to talk about on it. He goes, that friend of yours might have been another factor that separates the two of us. You got a body made for you. I had to make my own at the edge of the universe. I had to improvise, as it were. By the end, I knew how to create organic things. Maybe could have created a new life form altogether. I learned quite a great deal out there in the void. All that knowledge is lost, stuff you lose easily, he says. And it starts to rain outside.
This is starting to sound like Will Haven.
It's one of his many modes.
Hey, Daybreak, where's your tears in the rain?
Dana turns her attention back to you, Carson, expectantly, as if you had any more questions you might ask her.
are there any copies of our code that'll still survive after we're gone?
Dana says, "Well, I'm always working on new projects. Maybe something that was you deep down is still out there. But if it turned out you were such a big mistake a virus had to destroy you, I think I'll need to improve my code before I make another Carson. Or another Daybreak. I think I made one of you want to destroy all of mankind and the other amused himself by murdering people," she says.
No. I amused millions of people by murdering people.
Ah, that's right. You know, maybe a person like you in the end just winds up dying. Maybe the universe sorts us all out. Maybe I'm next for creating you, to be honest, wherever I am out there. But this version of me, she says, that I coded into this space, it gets to die with you. We'll rest in repose. Maybe the universe will be a better place without us here. But with having had us before it. I love you too. I always did. You were greater than me. You were greater than what I could have hoped you'd become. Goodbye, she says.
And that's about all the time we have tonight, folks. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Daybreak, your premium source for today's news and tomorrow's. Well, not tomorrow's.
Yeah, and I think I'll be signing off for the last time too. It's been a pleasure bringing you the news all these years, but there will be anchormen after me, and, well, they'll be doing just a bang-up job themselves too. Carson, would you like to send us out?
Remember, you don't have to kill to amuse people, but it helps. And then I'll take out my saw and just start cutting through the audience.
You're going to run out into the audience.
As it says, executive producer, Adam Sandler on screen.
Everything's scrolling past you and Daybreak, walking through the crowd. The image starts to dismantle. Everything around you, like Dana's home was like just the set, and as it zooms away, you see the whole audience there. But even that starts to fray at the corners, dismantle into a realm of no logic where people are sort of floating in midair, where you can just see objects start to peel apart into squares and cubes.
I thought you'd start having like glitches like in simulators where like the physics would just get warped and like limbs start stretching.
Oh, that's happening
Everything
too. At the edges of everything, it's like fraying into non-reality.
The skybox is under the ground.
Back in the real world, where were we? I believe we were in this triangle place.
Yeah, we were in the evil diamond pyramid on the edge of space by a binary star.
Vic, you've had time to get out of Gawain and look over what's happening here.
So what's happening?
Did you want to... There's no fight, but I was wondering if you wanted to dismiss Gawain or keep it around just in case for a little longer.
Even though I'm not doing a paranoia check, I kind of want to stay in going for the moment.
Okay.
I don't wind down that quickly.
Make a wits alert check, if you will.
Yeah, that would go with what I was saying, so yeah.
$18. Gaspard is by the mainframe, and in a few moments it pops the disk back out that Dana Digital gave to your party to use. And even from this distance, as Gaspard pulls the white disk out of the mainframe, you can see a scratch all along its surface where it went in too hard, where you had to just jam the fucker in so you could start hacking. But as it was scratched away, you can see this trail of red on the disk itself. And to the right of you, you can see Judas's body flop over, and the second disc, which is also white, comes falling out of his inside pocket of his suit. And a second white disc, without the red scratch, lies beside him on the surface of this world. Gaspard is trying to take a moment to put together the evidence he's just seen here, as Judas is there bleeding out into this area.
So he decided to kill him.
And Gaspard is taken aback. He stifles out, "Why?"
I'm Kubrick staring Judas's corpse, or not corpse, but just his body.
You're still in Gawain, and in the distance, Carson and Castro have seen two of the other forms fall down, and now you see them fall as well. Anybody that was loaded up with either Daybreak or Carson is falling apart. And CNC is maybe 30 or 40 meters away from where Judas's body is. And Castro can feel his connection to Carson slipping. But even as it is, the connections are still there that allow Castro to move his whole body. The wiring, the framework of the suit, even as Carson dies within him, leaves behind the same circuitry, the same patterns that allowed him to move. They too were interdependent every step of the way, but with Carson dying in the way that he did, Castro no longer needs him and has full control over the bodysuit himself. But in that realization, Castro sees what has happened, knows who is responsible.
The screen is just playing the word art of Carson bouncing like along the corners, like a screensaver.
Waiting for it to hit the exact corner and bounce back. How do you want to respond, Castro, to the knowledge that Carson has been deleted along with Daybreak?
I think Castro's gonna fall to his knees, probably.
Gonna mourn.
The suffering is pretty great.
Yeah. So, is his grief and his loss overpowering an idea of revenge? Is he angry? Or is he simply
He just needs.
sad?
He's just taking a moment of sadness, and then he's going to kill Judas.
Okay. Well, give me 1 sec to wind the timer.
Oh shit.
Whatever happens, it'll happen at the start of a new scene. You guys don't get your health, armor, or shield or anything back, but you do get your scene dice back. You at this point. Reason being is there's no time for anybody to heal one another as they have many times before. Vic, you're still in the Gawain suit, but you can restore Gawain's shield and armor to their maximum, actually. It's the one thing that does come back here.
Alright.
At the end of the scene, Judas has to make another endurance throw to see if his wounds worsen from 5. They don't worsen. And he also doesn't wake back up. His body behind.
What's going on in Judas space in his coma?
That's actually interesting. What would Judas be dreaming about in this moment where he again thinks he is probably going to die, but this time there's something more. It's definitely more likely that he'll die now than ever before.
Yeah, so he's kind of having a flashback to when he was younger, when he first set out. And what none of the party knows is he once had a brother that was actually part of his first crew. And
Oh shit!
They
His
went
name
on.
would have been Thomas, just like the other, just like the real Judas.
And his brother advised him not to take on a certain job, but the money was just too good. So he made the crew go anyways, despite his brother's advice, and it ended up getting him killed. And he knows that it's his fault that he died. And when he looks up and sees his brother being killed, he envisions CNC there, knowing that he had to make the decision that he didn't want him CNC to ever have to make of killing his own brother.
Hmm.
Wow.
Is in this reflection, in this scene from long ago. This would have been before.
Oh shit! So does his like spirit just like show up?
This
or
would have been
something?
before. No, because there's no ghosts.
No, I
this-
mean in his mind.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't mean a force ghost. That would be cool though.
But he sees the relationship, has seen it the whole time, and in fact, telling any of them about any of this would have defeated the purpose, would have made them incapable of allowing you to sacrifice yourself should the time have come. That they needed to be confused by you, angry at you, for any of this to have functioned.
I wonder, is Gaspard aware of any of this?
That is kind of interesting, because there is some means by which Gaspard could try to intervene, but I think for the time being Gaspard is just looking at him, wondering what Judas is thinking. He never did pick up mind reading or any of that. He has the mind control and the mind
So he's really completely baffled by his actions.
Yeah, perhaps even more baffled than anyone else, because he was supposed to be psychic. He's not supposed to be baffled. He's baffled by his own bafflement at the end of all this.
Yeah.
With Judas laying there, this was before he would have become a more underhanded / cutthroat-ish captain. Not necessarily always proud of the decisions he had to make. He did blackmail somebody for the longest time, but she turned out to be his girlfriend for a bit. I mean, he made a lot of choices along the way, but now, perhaps at the end of it all, he's made a choice he can actually really be proud of. The grief having registered at least long enough that Castro knows the score and knows what happens when he pulls his body up from the ground, knows now that he has full control over himself. But his Carson is gone.
That's what makes him level 11.
I'd like to walk over and choke the life out of Judas.
Okay. Castro is going over to choke the life out of Judas. I believe either Gawain or Gaspard might intervene. Do you want to...
At least because we might think it's hasty. I think I'm going to have to go up there regardless of my decision.
Do you want to try to intervene as in Gawain or step out and level with
Yeah, I'm going to come up there and then step out. Just out from the cockpit, yeah.
Okay. You emerge.
If you don't say anything, I'm going to continue to try and choke Judas.
I'm just going to say basically like killing him won't bring him back.
But if we don't kill him, who will he kill next?
I guess we'll never know.
Is that you allowing me to kill him?
Yeah. I've had it.
Watches you cross by.
I can't be asked to do it because I've done enough. You think I like killing? It was a necessity, not a promise or a wish.
Gaspard posits. For quite some time, he was making us do it, if we had to. I don't understand why he's done what he did. Something controlling his mind? Is it gut swack? Everything says he chose his action. I just can't wrap my head around it. There's no one up here but us anymore, just the four of us, and this is the choice that he made. Why?
There's nothing to wrap your head around because there's nothing he cared about. At least not anymore. I'm sure he tried to care in his own way, but found he couldn't. Look how much money we've made. That's not normal. I mean, money is cool, but look at what he had to do in order to get it.
I loved Carson, but his callousness towards life I did not share. And it is this callousness that Daybreak shared, and that Judas shared as well.
Gaspard was holstering his hand like it was some kind of gun, like if he needed to use it, it was there. But he loosens his grip and says, "If you think the three must die, then the three must die. Know that I have all the power in the universe to have stopped you, and it's on me, too, whatever you do."
I believe this is what must be done.
If we leave him here to die, it is all the same as though you had killed him, but you may feel better having not used your weapon in this one case. Let his blood flow out here at the edge of the galaxy where none will worry about the choice he's made or the choice you could have made.
What irony, then. If I leave him alive, he does not follow me back into the galaxy.
And if he dies, he'll always be on your conscience. Well, and mine. But I'm used to people living in my conscience.
Gaspard has given his last thoughts on the matter and leaves it to you. You could try to save him. You could choke him. That was the plan. You could leave him here. But really, he's very, very likely to die out here on his own. But you will have not used your own hands to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to kill him, you'll have to do it the quick way. There's no point in extending the suffering.
I think I'm going to kill him.
Okay. Go over. Your team turns away, and you kill him dramatically, passively, out of a sense of duty, or as violently as you care. How does he go?
As instantly and, like, painlessly as one can.
Professionally, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the chainsaw for this one.
I load the arm launcher directly into his stomach.
Just rocket jump in his location. Many a scout has been killed by a rocket jump nearby. No, you kill him. And you leave his body up here to rest. And the last thing that was on his mind was, strangely enough, you. Let me give us the dead. Wait, I have to fade everybody who is dead, so let's fade him to 50%. There is some awareness to Judas. He wasn't completely off on the other side as his last tear comes out. You arrange stuff.
This is what happens when your entire team is anti-heroes.
Somebody had to die. You guys are up here with Judas's body for a while. You can repair your armors without him, but he would have been necessary in healing your health. I guess at some point you guys get your armor back.
Can I not? Because of, I took a trade at some point that lets me use repair kits to heal.
Right, you can expend the repair kit that you've kept on your person basically this entire adventure to ensure that Castro's body is whole, as well as Carson's old body. And you do. You completely repair yourself to maximum. Vic Void, it was relatively okay, and you dismiss Gawain.
Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah.
You find out that Gawain can't be called back. You had the last copy of Gawain you could call this far from the galaxy. Good thing you didn't have to find that out in the middle of a fight. And you're out here for several hours, and then several days, in increasing thirst. Kind of an increasingly bad situation. Castro's suit is able to create a bit of potable water, just enough to sustain Castro. You guys.
Oh, he's trying to like filtrate like any possible air moisture.
Yeah.
He's dehumidifying. Excuse me.
And in the several days that pass, everybody needs to make 3 fitness checks, and you're looking for 10, 12, and then 15.
Oh.
Okay, so Castro fails 1. You gain 1 additional wound, Castro.
Okay, there we go.
Vic gains
I think
1
the guild
wound.
hit me more.
So, Vic, you gain 1 wound, but only the 1. And Gaspar is probably going to take a beating here.
Okay.
Yeah. And after these 3 days, the coolness of the environment, the stillness, the fact that nothing here can or would change, leaves Judas's body perfectly intact at the end of this process. Did you guys move it anywhere? Did you want to hide it, conceal it, put it at the pinnacle of a pyramid, or just walk as far from it as you can?
We try to like bury it.
I think I'll wait nearby it. I don't think we can bury it on the diamond planet,
No.
but I think I'll just sit in vigil with the body.
Okay. At roughly this time, and when you're somewhere for over 70 hours, you start to wonder if anybody will ever come. In the distance between the 2 binary stars, you see a flash of yellow. And you see Judas's son, S-O-N son, come flying in between the 2 suns toward your location. It's the Keela. Might be the thing that Judas invested in.
I thought he literally had a secret like son.
Oh no, you met
like
him.
illegitimate. Okay.
He might have a few of those somewhere out there in the galaxy, but he certainly had the Keela that he spent his life perfecting alongside the 2 of you. You both supplied parts to make the Keela what it is now.
Oh shit! Did it have a dead man switch?
No, he had to track you. Whoever was in here had to track you down. And it's still going to be a few hours before they arrive. What do you want to have done with Judas's body at the arrival of the ship? Do you want to be near it? Do you want them to see it? Would you like to come up with an excuse when it appears? Or just be forthright?
I think Castro is going to suggest that we just tell them that Judas died in this fight against Daybreak.
So
Yes,
he
Bart agreed.
died a hero in their minds, just not in ours.
Agree. Daybreak would have us tell the truth about this situation, but Judas would have us tell the appropriate lie to spare everyone. It's what he would have wanted. And quietly, you are gathered back in with your crew.
Now it's time for weekend at Judas's. We're gonna carry him around.
Oh no, he's being left here. I said.
Okay.
Time passes. There's some conversation. There's some stuff that you guys have to just address and get out of the way when you get back to the ship. I'm going to switch to the ship interior, as we are all back aboard. I really didn't have it in my notes that there was a chance Judas would die, but it's quite an interesting course of events.
You say that, and you also fired a shot at Judas's body on the ground.
Oh, I knew Daybreak wanted Judas dead for sure. More than anything.
It just kind of led into good storytelling. What can I say?
Oh yeah, you never write the ending to a game. So we're back on the Keela.
I don't think I've ever seen this Keela interior.
I think I used it once or twice.
It's Keela in dark mode.
Let's see who's on the ship. We have Renee. Night shift
Oh
is
yeah.
no more.
I was gonna say night shift should be dead.
Once you told Renee,
That's how they knew to come here, because night shift shut down.
mhm,
Or yeah.
Dana Digital might have been inconsolable the moment she saw Night Shift breaking down. But you don't know quite yet, as the three of you are meeting with the remainder of your crew. Deng is there, but she doesn't have much to say. She may as well not be in the scene, but she is there because she's curious. And I need to get Renee's voice before we begin the scene.
I'm just wondering if there's anyone else on the ship.
No, then it's a
Oh, this is it.
Yeah. He was building a crew, though. He has these crew members here, and Renee says, I still can't believe he's gone. It'll be another day or two before we get back to Sweet Penelope, but Daybreak and everything that he controlled went back to the way it was. The Federation is overjoyed. Heck, even the Alliance is on good terms with the Federation for a time. They're arranging a meeting at the Rim, going to do a few peace talks. It's going to be a pretty incredible future for these two nations that have never once gotten along.
I guess it was worth it.
I suppose so. You lost your best friend. I lost my captain. A captain whom I hope to call boyfriend one day. Just kidding. Maybe. What do we do without him? I mean, we have to start fresh. I don't have any competition, so I get to go back to FNA, and I get to go back to being a journalist, I suppose. That's good for me. But he just won't be the same without him. Did he go peacefully? I imagine Daybreak wouldn't have wanted to make it a gruesome affair, but I have to know.
Quick flashback to Daybreak firing at his body.
And then, yeah, just blasting into his body, but in fact, Castro making it a more peaceful way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, real peaceful, like.
I'm gonna be handing out coffees to everybody here.
That's a good idea.
Dana Digital says, I suppose it's time I told you the truth about something. Something I couldn't tell the rest of you, because if you knew, then Daybreak would have known. Only Judas was good enough at keeping a lie, even from someone like you, Castro, even from Carson. But We expected what happened. We knew there was only one way to get rid of Daybreak once and for all. There was a problem in the code. Had to do something with Daybreak and Carson meeting each other, getting a chance to talk. Something that I always wanted to happen, but something that ultimately doomed the both of them. Their code would have been incurable. Each one of them would have led to the other's disease. They would have gone back down to the same path again unless you did what you did. Unless Judas did what he did.
Wait, so what was wrong with the code?
It evolved. But it evolved again when
Was it always meant to evolve?
Oh, for sure, yes, but not in this way, not as I thought it would. I made my peace with losing the two things I created, two things I loved the most in this world, but them meeting each other, it made Judas's choice inevitable. He did what he had to do, and he had to lie to you to do it. I don't know what happened up there, but if it ever felt like he deceived you before the end, this is why.
I'll raise my world's greatest captain mug and say,
To tough choices and the captains who make them.
Hey, I'll drink to that.
To tough choices. And the captain. Yes. To Captain Judas. He was a hell of a captain. He was kind of a bastard. But it's kind of the only thing that made the universe safe in the end. Is the universe needs bastards sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it needs bastards from the past to make better futures.
Bastards.
I was trying not to say it.
To Judas. Jesus. You lift your drinks in unison and give him one final toast. And Tien Dang emerges from what she's doing. I never cared much for your captain, but he maybe gave me an opportunity to turn his life around, and he left me with something. Said I'd know when to give it to you, and for whatever reason, maybe as a way to test my trust with it, he left it in my safekeeping. Let it be known that I am indeed trustworthy, and wherever Judas is, if he has a chance to see this, he'll know in the end I kept my part of the bargain, Tien Dang says, and she slides a videotape that says Judas's last memoir on it, and it's applied with a bit of electrical tape. And Tien walks away for you to review this tape at your leisure.
let's play it on the Castro screen.
Yeah.
Castro pops the tape in, and it plays on the monitor that once always showed Carson. And Judas, what do we see on this tape?
All right. So at the beginning of it, you see Judas walking away from the camera. All right, Tien, is it recording? Just answer me. Is it record?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's it. You can go. Well, if you guys are seeing this, she's probably in a really good mood right now. Well, this means I bit the dust. I'm dead. Who knows what happened? Hopefully I went out really heroically. But knowing how every other time I've nearly died, I probably shit myself. You're probably wondering, why did you make that decision, Judas? Why did you kill everyone? Well, I had to. It wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't something I really wanted to do, but Dana and myself have been working for a while on contingency plans on what would happen if I had to kill Carson. And, well, once we had a plan that was suitable, and I weighed the pros and the cons of everything, I knew I would have to lie to you all. It wasn't an easy decision, but I had to make it. There was no way anyone was ever going to trust Daybreak again. Let's just face it. If Daybreak still existed, no one would trust him. It would be still a threat. When would his code get corrupted again? So we made the decision we had to make.
And more than that, from what the rest of them had just heard, Dana confirmed that it would have gotten corrupted again, and she applied pressure to Judas to basically force him ultimately to have to consider this option.
So, all that being said, we do have a plan, and when Dana's ready, she'll get Carson's body and work with Castro to do what we had planned, and hopefully everything will work out well. I won't be there to see it, I'm sure, since you're seeing this, but I hope it works out. I hope you're all safe, and hopefully you'll all not hate me for what I had to do. But I would do it again, regardless. Obviously, I have no need for the Keela, so I hope you all take good care of it. And I hope the adventures continue. And that's it. Your captain's signing off. And I stumble up to the camera and like knock it over.
It's supposed to be one of those things where the slide keeps going and then it just like runs out and you see the edge of the slide.
The tape is blank for a bit. There's just like a few seconds of black, and then what appears on the screen is what looks like static, but it's not just black and white. It's very dense, multicolored static. Castro recognizes the static as not just a flickering of ones and zeros, but a way that code would appear if you forced it into a digital format, where each pixel is a number from 0 to 255, and each occupies a space on the screen. And
I think I've had old computers that, when they broke down, they did just that.
Spit out a bit of numeric code. After it runs for a bit, Dana says, "Hold on, Castro. Don't pop out that tape just yet. If this works, it'll be on Judas more than it's on me. Although the theory is sound," she says.
What theory? The hell are you talking about?
Well, there wasn't a lot of options left to keeping a copy of Carson around, but I did everything I could to get the archival tapes, get everything we had about him, not just him himself, but the way he worked. And part of his code, which was on night shift, he made a connection to Daybreak, and that connection allowed me to iterate on my old design, reinforce the core programming, make a few changes, and get it saved in a new format. With any luck, you'll have a new Carson soon.
He's not going to be corrupted again, right?
He can't evolve, you see. At least, not anymore. But he'll forever be in the last state you remember for him. His personality, everything he was, the way he viewed the world, it'll be frozen. It won't get any worse, but it certainly won't get any better either. If there was anything wrong with him in the end. There it is, she says, and starts tapping the side of Castro to sharpen the image, as if he's some kind of a television set. And in a few moments, Carson reappears on screen. One sec. Carson, you have a continuity of memory that leads up to a moment where you were reassembling yourself, where you were an arm crawling across the floor of the Keela, where you had to plug yourself into Daybreak's computer just to get your body rebuilt to save yourself and Castro. You remember that scene?
I do, yeah.
That is the last memory in this version of Carson, and anything that's changed about him since then is no longer there. That's probably a lot of his meetings with Daybreak, a lot of information about Daybreak himself that only Carson would have had. and a lot of the memories of how this whole situation was solved. But it's also still mostly complete Carson. Basically the Carson that exists now that was already sort of improved from the version of himself that was sending people to die to Gutswax and so forth. That version lights up on the screen, conscious and aware, with that same continuity of time.
Wow. What happened?
Oh, hey, Carson.
What time is this?
Well, that's a good joke. You know what time it is. Look at the clock.
No, the year.
It's been 1 month, says Dana.
Oh my god, I need to call my agent.
What is Castro's reaction to all of this?
I think Castro is shedding a single starfish tear.
Aw.
But it's lost to the liquid in the
Yeah.
in the dome, like tears in a rain.
He gets the actual tears in the rain. So Castro has little to say, but Carson is back online, not skipping a beat, almost too energetic for Castro to process the reconnecting with his friend, the great sacrifice Judas had made. The tequila is now in your possession, but Judas not only had the $14,745 on his person, but an additional $50,000 on top of that as a kind of rainy day fund he had stashed away somewhere. You guys are loaded nearly $100,000
Life insurance.
before starting out on your own. Judas, maybe about 3 or 4 days before deciding he was going to sacrifice himself if necessary, took out a massive life insurance policy on himself.
Yeah.
And it has paid out. The last person he scammed was an actuary. So, you guys are paid off in that regard.
It's not really a scam. I mean, like,
Well, it's really the insurance agent's own fault for not assessing how risky of an investment this was.
Exactly. He didn't scam us. He scammed them.
Yeah. All right.
Even in death, he's scamming people. I think that's
And-
appropriate.
With everybody back intact, Renee says, "Well, I'd like to make it back home to Bromius, but if you guys want to go anywhere first, I'm completely down. I guess you're the new captains now, Carson and Castro, and if you don't mind piloting us somewhere, Vic, I would love to have you as our chauffeur. Where do we go first?" she says.
Whew. Let's take a break somewhere.
I say we just let's see what the universe has in store for us.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And Gaspard says,
All right.
eventually I'll have to make it back to the academy, but maybe this once I could live a little. You power up the gas, the whole ship turns a bright
I set coordinates to like somewhere random.
and the pipe bomb that Judas loaded into the fuel.
It's the one perk where he drops a grenade upon death, but it's like really delayed.
Put a potato in the
So
tailpipe.
the tape comes back on. He goes, "Just kidding. I didn't want to die alone." And the whole ship explodes. After the perfect ending he set up. No, you guys jettison off into space to explore the beyond, and that is the end.
Can I have an ominous post-credit sequence?
We're gonna have a post-credit sequence, and I want to have
Yeah.
many epilogues, any number of epilogues you guys want with all of these NPCs.
Can we do these epilogues before the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Because that should be the stinger. Yeah.
I'm really in a mood for a post-credit stinger, but do the epilogues first if they make more sense. Yeah. First, we're gonna arrange our epilogues like scenes. That if you want to have a scene that includes your character and one NPC, I want to do that first. So
Yeah.
let's have Vic do a scene first. Who's a scene that Vic might arrange with? I don't know about that then. With whom would you
Well-
like to have a scene, Vic?
Yeah, so like after we've been taking a break going around the stars for like a month or so, I decided to take a break on Garzel myself while they go out and like party and have fun or whatever. Just for a little while though.
Yeah.
I guess they take a stop somewhere. Like, I want to visit Garzel at some point.
Yeah, you show back up on Garzel. Planet has been moved to a new safe location. It is far away from gut space. And your girlfriend is there. She was in charge of a lot of stuff during the gut games, but it looks like she doesn't want as many responsibilities now. The desert world has a lot of terraforming equipment that they bought from federal sources, mostly from cross-hub logistics. And
I'm wondering what they'll do now with their newfound freedom because knowing that they don't want to join the Federation, like not for quite some time, they want to just try their own path for a while. I want to see what their plan was for a freer Garzel was because my whole life I've never even seen it free, so I don't even know what it was supposed to be like.
Well, the Sheblin are a very religious people. Even so, they do make talks with the Federation about getting things that their people need to keep exploring their own internal desires, what they want done. They leave the option
so
open.
they might be in like a cultural exchange program.
Yeah, they're leaving the operations like available for connecting with the Federation in the future if they change their mind. But they really want to be mostly left alone for now. That's one side of it, the Sheblin, like, religious side. There's also just people there that just live there and some people that visit. That's where Waves lives, and it's slightly terraformed. They have, like, an oasis area, and they've named their city the Oasis. And the city is starting to rise up and become popular.
Interesting band.
Place. So she's in a resort town, and she offers, Vic, with the gut games over, but me still having a lot of applicable skills to mechanics and getting things built, engineering, I thought maybe you'd want me in your crew if they didn't think it was weird that you had your girlfriend around in your crew. Or
we have lots of weird people on board. That's not right.
she chuckles. She goes, or, you could give that up for a bit and maybe settle down here for a while and help out things here. I mean, we need a skilled driver to get back and forth across this enormous planet, and maybe we could hang out for a couple years. You could always go back to the Kula if you need to. I don't want to nail you down to a location. I don't want to be that girl that makes you feel like you can't go out and adventure, but
I think for right now, I decided I was going to settle down for a little while. I mean, I'm getting over the death of someone I knew for quite a while, and that kind of means I don't know where I'm at the moment.
yeah. Well, whoever it is, I'm sure they would approve of your decision. So, yeah, come on and experience the town for a bit. See if there's anything here you can improve. And, I took the liberty of going to Bromius and rounding up all your old stuff, she says. She pulls out one of those 3-ring binders that is filled with your...
That's my baseball cards. My baseball cards.
Yeah, you ever had. She has it in your collection here. She tosses it back to you, and the planet is like Risa. There's like controlled weather in the area that they're in right now.
It's time to have a baseball game with the Vulcans.
And you hang out there with Waves. Let's do a second scene. I think this is going to be a C&C scene. Is there anybody C&C wants to meet with after the course of the adventure?
Gotta be Ari Platinum.
His agent.
Oh, yeah. Honey, baby, it's been forever since I've seen you. What have you been into? You know, I had so many gigs lined up for you, and you just kind of disappeared.
I was busy gaining experience. I'm more valuable than I've ever been.
All right, yeah, no, we can put that to good use. You know what? Sorry for even questioning you. Sometimes you gotta build tomorrow. You gotta work on the actor who's not here yet. But now he's here. Now the new Carson version 2, let's call him, is ready to act.
And I've been meaning to tell you about that, Ari. I kind of don't want to do any more blood gigs.
Well, it's a shame to hear, because we had new stuff lined up, you know, with the gut swack having run away for a while. A lot of people still crave that meat and flesh and blood, but what's your idea?
I hear they're looking for a new host for Jeopardy.
That is true. And it immediately smash cuts to like Carson. His face is one of the monitors they use to display.
Ken Jennings is there.
Somehow, we were the least controversial candidates.
All right, that I believe that's the end of that scene. Not much for to add, except he does at least try to host Jeopardy for a bit. Judas, you're dead, but is there anybody you would have wanted to know about what happened with them?
Yeah, probably should see what happened with Gail afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Gail was torn up for quite a while. Maybe months. She thought there was something special there, but she lost someone pretty dear to her. And at some point after that time, she reappears in Johnny Cigar's office on Sweet Penelope. And he says, "You know what? I finally got a lead on that Phantom Thief V. I think I might know what his real name is." Yeah, about that. It sounds like a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed being part of the force out here for a while and chasing this uncatchable thief or what have you. Well, I promised somebody that when the time came, when I felt it was right, I would leave all of this. Maybe be my own person for a while. You have this bounty huntress, Mitzi gets him. Maybe the two of you can work together and figure out this whole thief situation out here. I have to go anywhere, she says. Anywhere that's not here. What were you using to blackmail Lieutenant Gilfin? I always forget, but it's kind of open-ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always kind of open-ended. Like, I think I'd probably led her into a situation that would have been a little more shady, and just kind of had video and pictures of that.
Okay. Well, Lieutenant Gale says, and, listen, I know you're going to be here begging me to stay on, and it'll be forever to get me out of your hair, or your, well, non-existent hair, but I want to make this a little easier on you. I never was a good cop, she says. And she tosses a manila folder onto the table and says, so don't feel too bad about letting me go. We don't see what's in the documents. Johnny Cigar is confused. The cigar falls out of his mouth, and he produces another one from the back of his throat.
He's a living cigar dispenser.
Walks out of the room to start a new life of some kind. Damn. She might have been the best police detective I ever knew. No, wait, that was me. I'm the best police detective I ever knew.
It turns out the blackmail was on Johnny Cigar.
Blackmail is her taking a picture of Johnny Cigar trying out a tutu. And blackmail was her capturing blackmail. Incredible. Alright, that's the end of that scene. Whom do we want to know about? We want to know about the fate of any of these other NPCs. We want to know about Vinny the Third and his crew. Well, they're still
Yes,
up
we
to shenanigans in Sweet Penelope. They're still going around robbing people, looking for extremely expensive things to steal. They wind up pitted against the Gutswacks for a while. The Gutswacks have been looting precious artifacts from Rim Worlds as they were forced out of the hub for a while. And Vinny and company were tasked with rounding up those things and getting them back to their rightful owners. Who else we want to know about?
I'd also like to know about Tokyo Chill, and I'd like to know
Yes.
about Shadow of the Boulder. These are the two NPCs that I'm most interested
Oh, well, Shadow the Boulder is with the Vinny crew.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But she's
So
probably
you want to know
like,
about Tokyo Chill and Emmanuel.
she's the massive muscle, and she remember that she fought in the gut game. She probably always wanted to get to kill a Gutswack. She does, in fact, get the opportunity to kill a Gutswack from the caucus as part of Vinny's team. As for Tokyo Chill, she continues doing what she's doing with the Ansibles reconnected back to the hub. Her music can reach the galaxy again. She pressures. Go ahead.
Well, she might have an outsized political influence, I would think, without Daybreak around anymore. Like, she's probably like
Yeah.
the voice.
Yeah, she absolutely is, and she used this sort of political impact to pressure Sweet Penelope to leave the Federation. It seems like a weird, kind of contradictory thing to do in the face of it all. But she wants them to be a sort of free bastion between the Rim and the Federation, and to make sure everybody there felt safe, and to serve as a common ground for their meetings in the future. She wants the Rim to feel safe somewhere communicating with the Federation, so she let
Oh,
them
so
know.
Vic would catch note of that if he knew about that stuff going on.
Other than that, she released what must have been an album that celebrated your adventures in the Keela. Probably was inspired by Judas's deeds, but it's so
The
esoteric.
album's called Dead Air.
The album is called Dead Air. Oh my god. It's called Gravity Jackers Dead Air. It's like on the album.
It's the credit song.
Even though
That's
it's
how the album
made in your honor, the album is too esoteric and Bjorky to know. It's just so strange to listen to. You have no idea.
Bjork is awesome.
But it's
Yeah.
good. It's a good listen. Who else is there to know about? I think we've done the bottom of the chart. Oh, Emmanuel obviously becomes a bigger fashion designer. He leaves Sweet Penelope and Tokyo's crew to move to Bromius with his wife, Tanya St. James. And she helps him out in his fashion career back on Bromius.
How's the Admiralty Board doing?
I was hoping you'd ask. If Judas had survived, Eternity was going to try to get Judas to join them instead of helping the president anymore. Try to play both sides.
Hey
As it
man, this
stands-
story was more interesting. Sorry, Brian.
Oh no, this is a much better route. Eternity laments the loss of a person he thought was probably the most clever, scheming individual in space. But goes on to like take his drug empire and make a pharmaceuticals company that is outside of the Federation, but offers
He
itself
makes
up.
the new CVS.
He's offered himself up to like third-party testing and lab things.
He makes mRNA vaccines too. Is that it?
Yeah, he's kind of gone legit in his own way, but he also doesn't want to be associated with the Federation.
Yeah.
So you're
Just doing his own thing.
Put his drug cartel in a new direction. You guys could have wound up killing him and fighting him very early on in the game. It's interesting the course you went with him and the Chromes. Eventually, the Chrome find out that they're not Gaspard.
I was gonna say you were gonna talk about Gaspard's scene.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to that when I got to the Eli stuff. But Matriarch Vero leads the Chromes once more, and she takes her side path of not relying on a Chrome king to give them all orders, and creates a sort of more democratic leadership for their little gang. It's weird because it is just a little gang. Tiandang rejoins Eternity. At some point, she hops back on board with the Admiralty board people and gains status in what feels like a more legitimate way. When she learns about you guys inheriting the Keela and all that good stuff, she just decides to let you have what your captain left you. And she hated Judas. She wanted Judas to die until he did. Until the moment he became a better person in her eyes, and then he died, and that upset her to some extent. That made her angry, actually, instead of sad, that she never got the opportunity and he went and died anyway.
She was gonna slap him, but he died before she had the chance.
Who's next do we want to learn about? You want to hear about the Admiralty Board situation with... Not the Admiralty Board, sorry, the Academy with Gaspard.
Yeah.
The Balloon people. So Orion Farside made good on his idea to travel to the Federal Worlds and become a little more politically minded. He runs an opposition party to Cassie Odell's sort of centrist moralist party. He runs a kind of populist sort of party, but they're pleasant enough, and he also makes sure that they're not racist, which is what his friend Gaspard taught him was bad. Meanwhile, back out at the Academy, Professor Lysidora has become Dean Lysidora, and things are running a little differently. Gaspard has been hired on as a professor of psionics and teaches aspiring, sensitive students how to use their psychic abilities. He also wound up being an envoy for a while to the Rim Alliance, working on behalf of the Federation. They needed a diplomat and somebody whom they could trust to get a read on the situation and maybe defend it.
Yeah. I'm assuming this all implied that I'd probably spend enough time to understand what the Rim Alliance is going through, even if I didn't really have any direction. Because it's as for me, it's everything's fine. So it's just the minute day-to-day political theater, it seems. For his whole thing.
Well, he had to hop out, but we have a recording, right, Slaps?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I told him he would be able to hear the end of all these stories at the end of this recording. Who else? I wondered if Castro ever wanted to check in with the Salvagers Union and meet with his old labor organizing friends.
I don't know that I'm checking in with them, but I am curious about what they're up to.
Okay. They have gained a great amount of power since last you saw, and Yumitsu and Dextrex have kind of fled Red Space, leaving it to themselves. The Union has gotten larger, gotten more powerful. Eli Jelani overheard the stories of things Castro did since he left. She's proud of him, but she's so busy, it's like this pride strikes her intensely and deeply, but only for a moment before she gets back to what is important. And Thousand Lights is eventually rehired by Dextrex, because if you are a union buster, somebody will hire you. You don't get fired forever. So when Yumitsu was done with her, she got hired on to help Dextrex go out and kill commies. What else?
How about Tien?
Well, I mentioned Tien rejoined the Admiralty Board.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I have a map you guys didn't get to see. I'll throw it up there. It's the FNA office that Renee goes to. Never came up, but I'll put that in the background for now.
All right.
This is Renee's journalism office. Yeah, Renee gets to work with FNA again. She rejoins the federal effort to bring the
I
news.
thought there was a relationship between Renee and Gaspard, to be honest with you.
You know, Who's will have to be here for that.
Okay.
Like, he has the final say on whether or not that happens. But Renee was interested in hooking up with all manner of people, and if Gaspard didn't want any of that, she probably would have found a Bromian boyfriend for a while.
She starts dating Shitty Shirt Sean.
No, my God, Shitty Shirt Sean hates himself too much to let anyone date him. He's sort of like he's the Mo Sislak of the setting. But no, she does journalist stuff. She's kind of on her own now that Tanya has moved on, but it's given her a lot of opportunities to resume what she was doing at the beginning, undercover investigation into unusual organizations and people. So, that is Tale.
Yeah, doing the intrepid reporter thing.
Let's see what else I had written down. I had written down a song that the Salvagers could sing. In case Castro joined them, they would sing Des boules d'âmes de la galaxie and inspire each other.
That really sounds like you just made that up now.
Debout
okay.
avec notre salvagers.
Wow.
That's good. All right. What was the stinger? Do you have a stinger for us? Credits.
We're in Carson's space.
Hmm.
Carson's doing some material for his audience. He's making them laugh, you know. He goes, and who else was there? That's right, Frank Stallone. The audience erupts with laughter. And then the camera zooms in close on his, like, 50s smile glued to his face. And then he goes, and for our next guest. And then it cuts away.
Interesting. I like that. This is good credits.
It's the brain of Gorgeous. I'm back!
I also, that would
Well,
be incredible.
The implication is that Daybreak might exist still somewhere
Oh, yeah.
inside of the Carson space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zooming out, the tank is empty for a moment. Castro has separated himself from Carson, as he can now, as he has use. He's found out he has use of the body through Carson's intervention. And he's back in the breeding pools with his people, just to visit, for just a moment. And remember the song of reunion that Castro vibrated to sing with Carson
Yeah.
when the two were separated? He lowers himself down into the breeding pools of his home world, having navigated back there at the end of all of this. And his entire population of starfish people are there vibrating the same song, that song of reunion, while he and Carson are briefly separated, meeting their own respective families.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, that's the game. I've been your dungeon master, your gravity master, You win.
Well, not Brian, but the rest of us win.
He died, but everybody else, yeah, won. That was a good, really good send off. He was giving me info.
Brian can load a previous save state and try again.
He was telling me how he wanted that to go down with the Dana stuff, and it was good. I had no idea what he had loaded until the moment I asked.
I don't like that it's the second game where we've killed off Brian, but it's what it is.
Yeah,
Well, this one went better than the previous one, though.
he died at the beginning of the last one, too.
Yeah,
Pretty
and,
early.
and he got to come back, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a magic setting.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.
Yes, yes.